Hey everyone, welcome to Pass or Play. So today we're reviewing Run, Sweetheart Run, streaming on Prime Video, aka Amazon streaming app. So talk about a blind date from hell. So Sherry, she's a single mother studying pre-law at UCLA, working as an executive assistant at a law firm to partner lawyer James Fuller. When James' schedule gets double booked with his anniversary dinner and a client dinner on the same night, Sherry is asked to take the client, Ethan Sachs, to dinner instead and show him around town. Now, Sherry meets Ethan and finds him charming, and he comes off decent enough, going to dinner. And once the dinner's over, Ethan asks Sherry, does she want to come in for a drink? At first, she second guesses her decision twice on whether or not to go home and relieve the babysitter before going back into Ethan's house. But she decides to go into Ethan's house, saying, the babysitter said they would stay longer if needed, and that's a mistake. Because a moment later, she comes out roughed up and shoeless. And there's this thing that they do in the movie where basically it's like a fourth wall break with Ethan's character, and then at another point it's with her character. But with Ethan's character, like when she goes in the house, after second guessing herself, he stops the camera from going in. He closes the door, and then you just kind of hear like audible of scuff, like someone scuffling glasses and things are breaking, and then she comes out of the house all like disheveled. She's got like a gash in her forehead. Her clothes are kind of ripped and torn apart, and she's looking like something bad just happened. And she's running around the neighborhood. The people in the neighborhood, they don't help her. And when she gets like to the main street, she ends up running into two women who end up calling 911. But instead of the cops helping her, they end up arresting her for public intoxication. And, she's like, I've been assaulted. And then the cops are like, I'm looking into it. And then they put her in jail. In her jail cell, she meets another woman in there. And the woman basically tells Cherie she's a marked woman now, and she needs to find the first lady for help. When Sherry is describing Ethan to this cellmate, um, the woman's like, I had a friend who basically said the same things that you're saying. And when she after she kind of went on the date from that man with that man, she went up missing, and then she just starts banging on the cells like, get me out of here, get me out of here. She's like, don't take it personally, Sherry, but I gotta go. And she's like, and she just basically demands to leave Sherry's cell. Now Ethan comes to her cell, and the cops just let him in, and Sherry's pleading, please don't let him in here. He's the one who's assaulted me. And Ethan comes in and says that she comes off like a cock tease, but she surprised him, and he believes that Sherry has some fight in her. Sherry's like, no, I'm not a cock tease. I just wanted to meet someone nice, which is true. I mean, her friend was like, dress up, but I mean, she just wore like a dress. She wasn't like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say she. This movie's very much chauvinistic and to an extent too. But Sherry is just like, just let her go home. She won't tell anybody. She won't tell James. She won't say anything else to the cops, that any of this happened. Ethan, and Ethan's like, I'll let you try to go home, and no one will believe you because no one cares. Which you're basically seeing. People keep looking at her like she's the one who's done something wrong versus questioning why she looks like that, and maybe what the hell happened to you. It's like, you look like that because of you, not because of maybe what someone else did. And that's kind of where this movie, which is one of the themes of the movie, and he basically lets Sherry know all that matters is their little game, really, which is his game because she don't want to play. He lets her know, he will hunt her, and if she makes it through the night, he will let her live. And then Ethan the hunter and Sherry the prey games begin either way. And that's honestly, that's where the movie really starts to get into the run, sweetheart run. He calls her sweetheart. A lot of her bosses at her job call her sweetheart. This chase takes place at night. She's basically trying to live and make it to, sunrise. Um, you know, Sherry, she's running to her boss's James Filler's house. She runs to a gas station. She runs to her daughter's father's house. She goes to a church. She goes to a rave, and there's other locations. But and no matter where she goes, Ethan is not far behind. She has the will, and she keeps fighting to make it to daylight. You know, when this game will be over, but she has to make it to daylight, right? Um, and she gets help along the way, but she also comes across more creeps as well. Then the question really becomes, is Ethan even human? How is he so fast and strong? That question does get answered when Sherry meets First Lady, and you'll find out who First Lady is. Now, some of the things that I disliked, I kind of said it earlier, I didn't like the fourth wall breaking with Ethan's character, holding up his hand and stopping the camera for coming in the house, only hearing and not seeing what's happening. I feel one scene that he does it again in was probably more, especially for like budgeting purposes, like not showing what they could have showed had they not did that, where he like stops the camera from like turning to it. And at some points, this movie's like really violent. And some points, there was one part where it's like he's like kind of pummeling, like beating on her, and he has the camera look the other way. But there's plenty of other scenes where you show him like pulling her by the hair and like being, physically assaulting her abusively. And so I didn't really get that in in context of certain scenes too, when they showed him plenty of times being violent when he would catch up to her or get her and get her in his clutches. So that sometimes just the fourth wall break didn't always make sense in comparison to other scenes, in which they were kind of like fourth wall breaking with him. But Sherry's a fighter. She's a survivor. She's smart. Ethan can smell her blood. That's how he tracks her. So she cleans herself with bleach. She is also on her period and keeps bleeding throughout the movie. If she goes down, it's not without a fight. I'm not going to ruin the ending for you. There's a lot I'm not telling you. But I will say the writer and director Shauna Festi was inspired to write this film from the Me Too movement, which explains a lot of the themes. There were some reviews I saw where they said it was like pandering and tropes, but she wrote it in the writer and director. She wrote it, I think, around 2018, 2019. Um, the film was made, it was supposed to go in theaters, but because of the pandemic, the studio didn't even release it. They kind of put it on the back burner. Then Amazon bought it, and then they had her rewrite it, rewrite the script a little bit. And one of the producers, Effie Brown, wanted it to speak to all women, wanted it to feel more authentic to a black woman's experience and perspective. So screenwriters Keith Joseph Atkins and Kelly Terrell were added for a rewrite. But men can relate to this film as well, especially those of color. It has, I don't know how to explain it, but it has like a cool, like it's very like it's like quick and it's like very quickly moving. It has like this cool like aesthetic to it, like it all happening during the night. That kind of get them chase kind of it's like a it's a it's a horror thriller kind of sci-fi, with blood. There's nudity, there is violence. I wouldn't necessarily say you should watch this with kids. I mean, if they're older, you just explain like you should, this is wrong, other than the entertainment value of it. But the story is good, the script is good, the actors, especially the two main characters, do a great job here. It engaged me from beginning to end. Nothing dragged either for me. This movie's like really fast paced movie because she's constantly moving and running from the next location to the next, trying to figure out, who this man is, how she can survive, who can help her, who can't help her, what's her next move. And he's constantly like right behind her on the hill. So it is a very, it's like a cool movie ride, and it goes by really fast. Especially if you like watch it straight through. Um, you know, but what I will tell you to do with your Prime subscription, if you got it, is to press play on Run Sweetheart Run. This is a play. It's a good thrill ride thriller. Yeah, it has horror aspects to it. It is a little, it has blood and all that, but it's not really that horrific. It's not, it's more thriller, more thriller than it is horror. But it's a good movie. It is geared for women. Um, um, Kind of reminds me to a little bit of Enough. Oh yeah, actually, it is kind of like an updated version of Enough. They just changed, they've added a horror element to it. Someone appearing to be something that they're not. But like a more updated version of Enough adds some horror aspects and different things. But yeah, and Enough had Jennifer Lopez in it. That's actually a pretty good movie. I don't know. I like empowering movies. It doesn't matter who it's geared to. I mean, as long as you feel empowered. But the ending works. I think most people will probably be happy with the ending. I'm just not going to tell any. I'm not going to tell you guys. I feel like the point of movie reviews is to, to give interest, or at least if you say it's bad, you can give your opinion, but you still have the right to see whatever you want to see. If you want to see the movie, go see the movie, regardless of what the review is or isn't. But as far as my recommendations, this is a play. I think a lot of people will enjoy it. If you like this review, hit the like button. If you have any comments, comment below. If you do see it, let me know what you think if you come back. And please subscribe, trying to get 1,000 by the end of the year. And I will see you next time. Bye.